Welcome, everyone. Hi, Nancy. I love the hellos in the chat already. Welcome, everyone, on this 31st day of March, after what has been an incredibly empowering and busy Women's History Month. I hope you've had one too. Since 1978, we have been acknowledging March as our Women's History Month. And of course, as you know, March 8th being International Women's Day. And I I am so honored and humbled and excited to be your MC today. Being Women's History Month, it got me thinking as to what I was doing in 1978 when the women and men who built this path for us started to acknowledge and understand the importance of celebrating and highlighting the cultural, economic, political, and significant sociological contributions that women were bringing to society. In 1978, I was 14 years old, and I had my first um, consciousness raising experience when I read this book, The Woman's Room. Some of you might identify having that first important shift, a mental shift and acknowledgement and consciousness raising experience that allowed me to be introduced to me in a very important and empowering way. And I love that what Women in Cloud is doing as an organization, being both emotionally and invested in your empowerment, is what we are all about, and especially what we are about today. Mastering executive presence and leadership skills. We have some of the most exciting, best speakers, panels, boot camps, workshops here for you today, and we're going to get busy. We're going to get busy. I would I would love for you to in the chat. I love that you guys are doing it already. I would love for you to give me a word, start a word association. What comes to mind with leadership and executive presence? Start that free association and understand where ideas come from. Change, awesome. Developing others, opportunity, power. Mandy, I love that. Yes, influence, inspire, quiet confidence. Oh, Shalmina, I love that. Accountability, leading innovation. Oh, we're off to a great start. I want to thank you for coming and to thank you for giving yourself the priority of being here. Having that time and effort and energy to bring you to this event, will the ROI is going to be big. It is investing a proper investment in ourselves always gives us the return in insight and networking and wisdom, and importantly, the opportunity to pay it forward, as many of you know. So let's get started. I'd love to call up our founder and president of Women in Cloud, Chaitra Vedalapalli. Please come on up, Chaitra, and let's start to. And I know, friends.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Getting out of like a little flu, but I'm doing good.
I know. I'm gonna tell Anya just before we started here, friends. Chai and I were chatting, and we were talking about her bio because so many of us know her as the co-founder of Women in Cloud. But she said, just highlight a few things of my bio. But I tell you what, this woman has had such an esteemed career, and bringing $1 billion worth of business to Microsoft and Oracle, and founding a thriving tech company, Mila, in her own right, and being such a champion for women in cloud and cloud technology. And you write about it and you speak about it and have been to some pretty significant places, the TEDx organization and the United Nations and the Grasshopper celebration. I hope everyone knows that. And I just needed to take an opportunity to truly spotlight the work that you do, and largely
Thank you.
why you do it.
Thank you,
Um,
Nancy.
Chai, I want to know why this topic, why now? You know, what drove you for International Women's Day to give us a day, give us this opportunity to talk about mastering executive leadership. Tell me your thoughts behind this.
Sure, Nancy. Fantastic question. First is welcome to all of you. So excited to have you here, and really excited to really close the International Women's Month with a bang. And that's why we did is mastering executive leadership. So let me talk about what the market size. It's $1 trillion cloud market, and I truly believe, and I think the entire community believe, we needs a woman representation. So right now we see the women only make like 16% of the senior level roles in technology and only 10% in the executive level position. So what we are seeing is every 10% increase in the diversity will drive a profit of 2 to 4% in any company, and that's according to McKinsey. So when we looked at what were the things that will really drive the corporate ESG goals, which is focused on environmental, social, and governance, we saw that there were three needs. One is a market is looking for it. All enterprise companies are looking to diversify their
Mhm.
leadership, and they want to use the data to focus on bringing more women representation into the executive position through community partnership. That was one. That's one of the reasons. Second is the business impact itself. We are seeing that in the Fortune 500 company, with at least three female leaders, they're seeing a 66% increase in return on investment. So it's a very good value proposition to do. And third is representation and role models. We need more of that. So we want to make the tech ecosystem more equitable and sustainable for future. So we need to have more women representation. And since we don't have a good representation in the leadership, we looked at and say, what do we need to do? We really need to develop women. They need
Mhm.
to gain skills. And I also have this book, Nancy. It's called as Leading Executive Conversation.
Yeah.
I I read this one, I think, 20 years ago, changed my life. And that's the time I said, oh, that's what it takes to really have an executive presence and leadership is the language. It's how you show up, how you contribute. And we want more of women in cloud ecosystem to develop, and we invest in developing them. And that's why this year going forward, we'll be investing more and more in developing women to become executive leaders.
I love that. I love that. Hard pressed to think of a more impactful statistic than with the addition of three women, an increase in 66%. That is
Mhm.
powerful. What else? You know, what else can compete with something like that?
Mhm, mhm,
I One of my favorite quotes, an early mentor of mine, Chaitra, said that the difference between a manager and a leadership is as follows. You know, when I talk to a manager, I am often left with the impression that they are very important.
mhm.
When I talk to a leader, I am often left with the impression that I am important.
Yes.
And I tell you, being a part of the company that you and your team have brought with us here today, the overarching theme is that they lift up others. They lift up others. Um, that is significant and absolutely contributes to the contagion of success. Tell us
Absolutely.
what. Okay, tell us about today. We've worked so hard. Tell us what we can expect today by the end of this day. What?
Yeah, and I think as every one of you are listening today, I want to kind of look at is why now we are actually doing this, and each one of you have like full opportunities, and I'll talk about how the whole event is set up. So here right now, every CEO wants to create executive opportunities on his leadership team, and they're open for exploring ways to do it. They're looking for new ways, new ideas. Second is the SEC also wants every company to implement corporate ESG goals where DEI is a core metric. So we need to develop more women into that leadership role, and so they can implement their operating model. And the best part is women are ready. During the COVID, everybody had a time to reflect. And they said, boy, I actually can step into the leadership role. They just want to have the right skilling. They need to have the right network, and they need to have the right people around them so they can lead with purpose and also know how to do it. So those are the kind of things the women are looking for. So as you're looking into today, it's a 4 hour session.
Mhm.
There are inspiring keynotes. Really, we have Shalmina will come in and talk about how to do that. We have panels which will show you how to break the bias. Third is there are boot camps around how to activate your executive presence and how to interview for those executive roles, because there are tons of them. It's $1 trillion opportunity. We have a lot of space for women to step in. We have networking, and then we have happy hour. And some of the fun things is we are doing is exploring what your dream is talking about, and come and join all of us and learn about what your dreams are saying. So we have some fun things too. So that's why we have created is really building relationships and connecting and learning together.
Oh, I love that. You've covered everything, you know, the inspiration, the aspiration, and then importantly, the practical application of
Absolutely.
how to do so, right? The how to crush the interview and get ready for the next cloud position. And the panel experts, oh my God, the people that we get to hear from today, it's going to be great. Um, Tell us how we might continue to engage with women in cloud. Tell us how to keep in touch. Tell us what you would like from this community. We have your back.
Awesome. So first is we have accomplished a lot in the last 3 months from the time we finished the summit till now. So some of the highlight is we did a CXO series on how to take leadership position for the data and AI roles in any company. We also opened the first center of excellence with RBC, which is a good institution in India. We are graduating 40 girls this week for cloud. They were so excited to see the first cloud virtual machine getting created. That one was phenomenal. We also rolled out is the cloud guides for all the entrepreneurs to really learn how to build a business with hyperscalers like Microsoft and Google's of the world. And during the International Women's Day, Microsoft has done a big loud shout out to 8 of our portfolio companies, and they're featured in their program. So those are kind of the big things that we have done over the last 3 months. So when you think about how to engage them, just very simple. I always look at time, energy, and money. So when you think about time, if you have time, then volunteer, step in. There are enough opportunities for you. You can work with us in whichever talent you want to build. We will create opportunities. If you have energy, you want to speak, you want to educate, you want to be in front of women who want to learn, come to us. We'll figure out a way to create a mechanism for you to activate your energy and spread, right? That's what we want. And if you have money, please, it takes people and money to keep a community running. So if you have money, I want you to think about how we can invest that money in developing people, leaders. So the first thing is think about corporate sponsorships, basically an annual agreements that we do with you so we can sustain you and make it part of your ESG program. If you're an individual, buy an annual pass and get engaged. So there are three things that we are actually rolling out for the next 3 months. One is the VIC Lead program. It's really allowing uh, women to become executive leaders to it's really a next generation corporate ESG women's accelerator focusing on brand, thought leadership, business leadership, and community leadership, really a holistic one that we will roll out this quarter. Then we also are rolling out is a Empower Her Access campaign. It's a digital advocacy campaign That one will focus a lot on role model spotlight, awards, and research work that we will do. And the last one is really driving a lot of warm introductions for women so that they are building their network. So that's kind of what I would say is you all need to think about.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. I am loving the chat. I am loving it's. We are going to be multitasking. I love your engagement and your investment and your attention already. Okay, Chaitra, thank you so much. I'm
Thank
going
you,
to.
Nancy.
We're gonna kick it off. We have
Awesome.
4 fun-filled, engaging hours ahead of us. Thank you
Perfect.
for who you are. Thank you for the work that you do and largely why you do it.
Thank you, Nancy. And thank you, everyone, for being here. Enjoy the whole International Women's Day and take something away and grow your executive leadership. That's all we want all of you to do. Thank you.